Happy Monday, everyone. Okay, so this week it's going to be action-packed. Okay, we're going to be hearing from several central banks. Okay, starting off with the Reserve Bank of Australia tomorrow. We won't be hearing from them directly. Okay, but we will be they will be releasing the minutes for the most recent monetary policy meeting. Okay, so if you guys can remember, I think it was just like 2.5 weeks ago that the Reserve Bank of Australia, okay, they carried out what is called the dovish tapering. Right, I'm not going to go through the whole, what's the whole dovish tapering about, but basically what they did was they tapered QE from the previous round of 5 billion Australian dollars a week, to 4 billion Australian dollars a week, starting from, I guess it already started, all right, in September. And previously, they were actually planning to make this current round of QE run for 2 months, okay, until November, but they actually decided to extend it to February 2022, which is an extension of 3 months, okay, extended by 3 months. So, which is why it's dovish, right? I mean, because of the recent lockdown being imposed across Australia due to spike in cases once again. Okay, so because of this whole uncertainty caused by the Delta variant, the central bank actually decided to, we're just going to keep this whole QE at $4 billion a week, $4 billion a week, for a longer period of time while we actually observe what's going to happen, okay, for the next few months. So, okay, that's for the meeting. So, what are we going to expect from the release minutes tomorrow? Okay, I personally won't be expecting any positive, optimistic speeches, news points being made in the minutes. Okay, it's very clear that right now, the situation is not very good. Okay, we have seen from the we have also seen from the recent release of the Australian employment figures. I think there was some 146,000 jobs being lost in the month of August. Okay, so nothing positive is going to be coming out. All right. As a matter of fact, the minutes is going to likely reiterate what I've just mentioned. Okay, what the what the central bank actually mentioned previously. Okay, so I don't think there's going to be any surprises this time around. Okay, just expect the minutes going to be dovish. Okay, so with that, all right, personally I feel that the Australian dollar is going to be weak for the time being. Okay, for 3 main reasons. First reason, dovish tapering by the RBA. All right. Second reason, weaker jobs market. Okay, now the third reason, I don't think I've covered it so far. All right, so I'm going to cover it now. It's the tumbling of iron ore price. Okay, iron ore is a commodity. What has it to do with Australia, right? So, okay, iron ore is actually Australia is actually the largest exporter of iron ore. Okay, and guess who buys the most iron ore? It's China. Okay, so what's with this whole iron ore issue, right? So last Friday, it was reported that iron ore price actually tumbled by 20%. This 20% decline is actually the largest, okay, weekly decline in iron ore price ever since the 2008 financial crisis. So, okay, what happened to iron ore price? I mean, what happened to iron ore, right? Why does it tumble like 20%? Largest dropped since the financial crisis, the 2008 financial crisis. Now, it has to do with China, all right? The first reason, Chinese steel mills, okay, the mills that produce steel, okay, are starting to dump iron ore, okay? They are starting to dump iron ore. If possible, they will cut down iron ore imports, okay? If they have already purchased in advance, okay, tons of cargoes of iron ores, then they are going to dump it by actually selling off in the secondary market, okay, at a big discount. Okay, why is that the case? Okay, so this is actually in response to the Chinese government's production cuts on steel. Okay, so the Chinese government, they because they want to curb CO2 emissions. Okay, it's basically more like a environmental issue kind of thing that they're facing. Okay, so I believe they have been receiving a lot of pressure coming from environmentalists. Okay, environmentalists, those who are, yeah, basically just environmentalists. I'm not going to go too in depth into that. All right, so with that, the Chinese government would like to curb CO2 emissions. So that directly leads to a production cut on steel. Okay, so it was said that it was reported that the Chinese government is trying to curb production steel amount to the point whereby the 2021 quantity will be the same, or at least around the 2020 level. Okay, so because of that, Chinese steel mills, they have to obey, right? They have to obey to all these rules being implemented, being imposed by the Chinese government, right? Otherwise, they'll be running out of business. So because of that, that's one of the main reasons, okay, why we are seeing a tumbling of iron ore price. Okay. Now, second reason, it has to do with China again, right? Basically, construction activities in China is expected to slow down during Q2 and well into 2022 as well. Okay, so now if construction activities are expected to decline, okay, to slow down, then the demand for steel is going to be low. It's going to drop, right? Hence, there's no need for so much steel being produced. So these two reasons actually led to the fall of demand in iron ore. Okay, hence weaker iron ore price. Okay, so with this, okay, these three reasons that I've just mentioned: dovish tapering from the RBA, weaker jobs report coming from Australia, and the tumbling of iron ore price. Okay, we can actually expect a weakening of Australian dollar. I guess some of you might have already looked at the chart early this morning, or rather a couple of hours ago. We are seeing that the Australian dollar is currently weakening across the board. Okay, probably as a result from last week's announcement that price of iron ore tumbled 20%. Okay, personally, I feel that Aussie dollar is a good trade to take up right now, right? Because on top of the poor fundamentals coming from Australia, we are having strong fundamentals coming from the United States. Okay, so what's the strong fundamental thing about? It's basically the strong retail sales data that was released last week. Okay, so with that, I'm personally expecting further weakening in the Australian dollar. Okay, and take note that the RBA Assistant Governor Bullock will be speaking on Wednesday at 10 GMT plus 8. Okay, it is just I think it's going to be an interview with Bloomberg. All right, so chances are whoever is going to be the interviewer is going to be asking, probing into this whole weakening of steel prices, weakening of iron ore prices, poor employment figures coming out from Australia. Okay, and of course with the recent dovish tapering. So I'll be paying attention to what he will be saying this Wednesday. Okay, so with that, the next meeting from the RBA will be on the 5th of October. Okay, which is probably like half a month from now. Okay, and I'll update you guys again if anything were to go down during this interview on Wednesday. Okay, so with that, I will hand it back to Scott.